it was introduced a concept which was a positive concept, which was the payback procedure. The payback procedure is something introduced in Great Britain for oncology, and we tried to introduce, the IFA, the agency for Italian drug, tried to introduce this in ophthalmology, which means, dear company, dear Novartis, I am now registering your drug, and I'm deciding to reimburse your drug on the basis of this data that you are giving me. And the data are the data from Marina and Anchor again. But please remember that if the patients will not have the results that you are saying me, I will ask reimbursement for in each single case. So if my mother will not have the results that you were proposing me, asking for registration or reimbursement, I will not pay for the drug. If I paid, I will ask to be reimbursed again. Okay, this is the payback procedure, which is a very beautiful concept. I mean, I register, I reimburse the drug on the basis of results that I need to see in clinical practice. If they are not, I will not reimburse you. So that's the system. In practice, I must say, this system, I think, was not applied a lot. No, it was accepted, but it was not well applied. Non è stato bene applicato, non accettato. It was accepted, but not applied well. In the sense that, if I understood well, the number of payback procedures were very low, was really near zero, I think. I don't know if somebody here can help me to give a precise answer, more or less nothing. So there was no application of this good concept. And I was explaining you the story. So we started having only Avastin. Then we started to have Lucentis and Avastin for the cases in which Lucentis had no specific indication. And since days, or in these days, we had an enlargement of the indications from Marina and Anchor, so from AMD to the other indications of Lucentis, which are edema from retinal vein occlusion, edema from diabetic retinopathy, and today we are in a condition to use Lucentis for these three different indications: AMD, diabetic retinopathy, macular edema, and retinal vein occlusion, macular edema. But the hot topic of today is that today in Italy we are allowed to use Lucentis, but we are not allowed to use Avastin. Because you can, in Italy there is a law which is, when you have a drug which is officially certified for an indication, you are not allowed to use something which is off-label, which is without an official indication for that drug. So the agency today said, okay, now we know that on the basis of these trials, Lucentis must be used for AMD, retinal vein occlusion, diabetic macular edema. Okay, this is the drug for these diseases. You are not allowed to use Avastin because Avastin is not officially indicated for these kind of things. So the problem is, for sure, is a financial problem, because if we had no financial problems, we could be very happy about that. No, for sure, because you are allowed to use the best for everyone, so that's what you need. And this is what you as eye doctors ask for. But the problem is that, for sure, this will be associated with financial problems, because we cannot use Avastin. So in many financial conditions, this will be an effort that the hospitals and the other organizations can have problem to face. But this is the reality of today. So we passed from the only Avastin to only Lucentis now. And this is the reality that we are living today.
And can you give me the precise figures of the difference? Like in
yes, it's on the next slide. Okay. It's on the next slide.
Please.
Perhaps I missed it. Why is Avastin less expensive than Lucentis?
Avastin is no. She was asking why Avastin is less expensive than Lucentis. So Avastin was conceived for the treatment of tumors, gastrointestinal tumors associated with metastasis. So the drug is produced in a huge vial, which can be used for systemic therapy. So the idea that had an eye doctor in Miami was, okay, I am waiting for the results of the studies on Lucentis, but in the meantime, I will try to see if this huge vial can be used for making many syringes with a small amount of drug inside, and I will see if it works or not. It was working, as you know. So the reason why Avastin is less expensive is that you use one bottle of Avastin and you do a lot of syringes for a small amount of drug. And this means that starting from a bottle which is expensive, you can use a lot of syringes for your treatment. So at the end of the story, you spend 50 euros or 40 euros for each syringe instead of 1,000 and something euros for Lucentis. Although at the moment, what I didn't say before is that Novartis, when had from the agency the authorization for registering and reimbursing the drug, discussed with the agency a reduction of the price. And at the moment, the price for Lucentis is 700 something for each vial. So there was a significant reduction, but it's still more than the cost of Avastin. The other problem is that when you use Avastin, you are using a drug which was not conceived for the eye. And this maneuver of doing injections on the basis of small syringes obtained from the bottle is a risky procedure because you need to do it in a very certified way, in a very competent way. Otherwise, the risk is that you can have an increase of infection of the eye. So here you have the results of visual acuity, and Matteo is going away now, but he was wrong. It's not the same, the results. What we can say is that is not inferior. This is not a simple question of definition, but the study was conceived in order to see if one drug was inferior to the other, not if they were similar, because otherwise the numbers needed to be completely different. So the study was, is that inferior or not? And the answer is not inferior. So in order to be more precise regarding that. And go ahead, please. This is the best corrected visual acuity, where there is some difference, but they are not always significant. Lucentis is always a little bit better, but it's not significant. The Avastin was not inferior to Lucentis in the CATT study as well as in the IVAN study. And finally, I like to go ahead. Secondary function. No, go ahead to the side effects. So this is the main points. There was this difference which shows always that there is an increase in side effects using Lucentis instead of Avastin. And this is the point.
Sorry, the other way.
And, pardon me?
You said Lucentis instead of Avastin.
No, sorry. But anyway, the main point is that this study was not conceived to show side effects differences. Matteo is saying, so that's the point. No, that's the opposite. Because if the numbers needed to be high enough to show differences on the basis of side effects, the difference could be larger. if this difference in side effects is present only with small numbers like this, it means that the differences are important. When you need to show some significant difference from a statistical point of view, you need to have groups which are numerous enough to be able to show these differences. But if you find these differences with small numbers, this means that the difference is important. You know what I mean? So this is something to be considered very well, and that's the reason why EMA, which is the European agency, took into consideration these results in order to say, please be aware that the side effects are higher with one drug considered in comparison with the other. So that's the reason why first the European agency and then the Italian agency, all the other agencies, took into consideration this data.